Squid Game Season 3 doesn't hold back when it comes to heartbreaking and jaw-dropping deaths. Right from the beginning, the new season throws viewers back into the brutal survival games, where one wrong move can mean instant death. After Ji-hun's failed rebellion against the frontman at the end of Season 2, the deadly games are back on, and this time, they're more twisted than ever. With new players, old enemies, and emotionally charged moments, Season 3 features some of the most tragic character deaths in the entire series. Some deaths in Squid Game Season 3 are satisfying because of how evil or ruthless those characters were. But others leave you gutted, as you watch good-hearted people meet horrific fates, or friends betray each other in the worst ways. While some exits were expected, others came out of nowhere and hit hard. Let's look at all the character deaths in Season 3, ranked from the least to the most tragic, based on how emotional, disturbing, or shocking they were. Starting off, the least tragic death was that of the unnamed masked officer. This guy was basically the front man's second-in-command, enforcing rules and keeping the guards in line. He constantly clashed with No Yule, especially after she tried interfering with the underground organ harvesting ring on the island. Eventually, after she blackmails him to protect Jaeyoung-suk, they get into a scuffle while heading toward the records room. No Yule ends it by unloading a machine gun on him in an elevator. It was brutal but not heartbreaking. If anything, it felt like karma. He had it coming. Im Jong-dae was another character whose death didn't exactly spark tears. As player 100, he was already in deep debt and saw the games as his only way out. He became an aggressive antagonist, even scheming to kill a baby during the Sky Squid game just to win prize money. In episode 5, he ends up being shoved off a platform during a chaotic fight. His fall didn't feel like a loss. It felt like the universe finally balancing itself out. He wasn't missed. Namgyu, introduced in Season 2, had a sinister streak that made his Season 3 death more of a twist than a tragedy. After getting addicted to pills from a necklace he wore, he tried to take a weak player named Min-soo under his wing. But Min-soo flipped the script. During the jump rope game, Min-soo tricked him by tossing the cross necklace onto a deadly part of the bridge. When Namgyu went after it, the rope tripped him and he fell to his death. It was ironic and poetic. He underestimated Min-soo and paid the price. Captain Park's death came with a mix of emotions. He was a trusted friend of Junho and a fisherman who appeared helpful. But the truth was darker. He was working with the frontman all along. Once Junho figured this out, a deadly confrontation broke out. Junho was forced to kill him to survive, but it wasn't easy. This wasn't just a betrayal. It was the painful loss of someone he once called a friend. That personal connection made it sting a little deeper. Then there was Seonyo, or Player 044, who called herself the Shaman of the Sea. From the start, she was arrogant and claimed to have spiritual powers. But deep down, she was just as scared of death as everyone else. She tried to escape during the hide-and-seek game and even teamed up with Jong-dae, but he left her behind. In the end, she was stabbed by a drugged-out Min-soo who was hallucinating. Her death was messy and tragic, not because of who she was, but because of how alone and helpless she became at the end. Min-soo, Player 125, had one of the more complex arcs. He started off innocent, stuck under the influence of stronger players like Namgyu. But after getting his hands on the cross necklace and the drugs inside, his mental state crumbled. He felt guilty for not saving Sammy, and kept seeing hallucinations of the people he couldn't help. During the Sky Squid game, he was pushed off a platform, dying with unresolved guilt. His death felt like the tragic end of a broken soul, who just wasn't strong enough to survive the horror around him. Kang Dae-ho, Player 388, was on Ji-hun's hit list after leaving people to die at the end of Season 2. Jae-hun initially held back from killing him but eventually couldn't ignore what Dae-ho had done. During hide-and-seek, they fought to the death. Instead of stabbing him, Jae-hun strangled him with his bare hands, using pure rage. While Dae-ho deserved punishment, watching Jae-hun cross that line was tough. This death hurt more because it showed how much the games had changed Jae-hun. One of the most devastating deaths was Lee Myung-ji's. He was one of the last players standing during Sky Squid game, and it looked like he might win. But things spiraled out of control when Jae-hun suspected that Myung-ji had thrown a baby off the platform to survive. Even though the baby turned out to be his own child, Myung-ji didn't back down. They fought, and Myung-ji fell before hitting the final button. Whether he was protecting the baby or thinking only of himself remains a mystery. But the emotional confusion of his final moments made it deeply sad. Then there was Park Young-sik, player 008. He didn't seem like a killer. In fact, he froze up during most games. But the games eventually broke him. In a horrifying moment, he tried to kill Junhee, even though she had just given birth. His mother, Jeomja, intervened and stabbed him to save Junhee. Shortly after, guards shot him down. His last act was full of desperation and fear, not malice, and that's what made it so tragic. He died as someone he never wanted to become. Jeomja's death followed shortly after and might have been the hardest to watch. She only joined the games to pay off her son's debt and protect him. But after being forced to kill her own child, her world shattered. That night, she shared a heartfelt conversation with Ji-hun, asking him to look after Junhee and the baby. The next morning, guards came in with a coffin. Jeomja had taken her own life. Her quiet, selfless love and deep sorrow made her death feel like a punch to the gut. Now for the two most devastating deaths of the entire season. In second place, we have Junhee. Her role in the season was powerful from the beginning, pregnant, alone, and just trying to stay alive. She gave birth during hide and seek, and after everything, she ended up sacrificing herself. When she realized the baby was in danger, she made a last-second decision to stay behind, ensuring the child was safe. Her death, filled with maternal courage and quiet bravery, left everyone stunned. And finally, the most tragic death in Squid Game Season 3, Sammy. Though not the most prominent character, her death hit incredibly hard because of what it represented. She had a strong bond with Min-soo, who clearly cared for her but couldn't save her. Her loss haunted him for the rest of the season, fueling his downfall. Sammy's death wasn't flashy or dramatic, it was simple and human. That's what made it so heartbreaking. She was just a person caught in the wrong place at the wrong time, and the game swallowed her whole. Every season of Squid Game pushes the limits of what the human heart can handle, and Season 3 was no exception. It reminded viewers that while the games may be thrilling, they come at the cost of innocent lives, broken bonds, and moral destruction. From cold-blooded betrayals to emotional sacrifices, each death brought something unique to the story. But some, especially the final few, left permanent scars not just on the characters, but on the viewers too.